Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review Series 4, in this case, July 7th, 1990. I love doing this series. It's so much fun, and it's always a good time because, well, Superstars of Wrestling was a great show back in the days when angles mattered, talent mattered, and just about everything mattered. And it's so different now. Now it's I dread watching most mainstream wrestling because there's maybe 1 out of 4 things that I like, and so at least I can understand what they were thinking at the time, looking back at these old shows from 30 years ago. Anyway, this is a relatively impactful show. We're moving towards SummerSlam, probably about a month and a half away. Obviously, SummerSlam by this point, they're doing the third one. So I'd say through about 97, SummerSlam mattered. And then by, 98, 99, I don't know that each SummerSlam mattered. You might have had matches that did, but not full things. Tony Ulysses and Mike Picari are your enhancement talents for the opening contest, and it is the new Demolition, Smash, and Crush. Axe on the outside. Axe, of course, having some health-related issues. I don't know when he got through them to be able to return to the ring, but he did, because he did indie dates before the pandemic, up until the last few years. Crush, obviously, fresh off of Portland television. The big man is here in this role for, I don't know, probably a few months, and then he disappears to obscurity a little bit. I mean, the match is real short. They do the Demolition decapitation finish, Smash taking the knee, and Crush with the elbow drop. Match is like 3.5 minutes, if that, maybe even 3 minutes. But the idea is the Hart Foundation and the benefit of the members of the Hart Foundation and Demolition going at it, and that is where we're going for the tag team division anyway, for SummerSlam. Then we move into the teaser, for lack of a better term, of the return of Hulk Hogan. There's talk of will he return, won't he return. The Rockers support his return, say they need all the fans' support. Hillbilly Jim supports his return, says he knows that Hogan can do it. Brutus Beefcake says if anyone can do it, Hogan can do it. Slick and the Warlord are brought in, which is kind of an odd occurrence. And they say he will not do it. Earthquake says he will not do it. Earthquake also promises to get rid of Tugboat and any other supporters of the Hulkster. Tito Santana up next against Playboy Buddy Rose. Rose, as mentioned earlier in the 1990 run, really hasn't been terribly successful here. Kind of like a swan song, going national before retirement. I don't know that he retires. I know that nationally, I don't know that there's many places for him to go after 90, 91, 92, somewhere in there. Santana goes to work on a headlock quite a bit. Takeover. And it is pretty aggressive by Rose. Rose with a body slam. It goes to the outside and tries to hit a top rope maneuver. Takes a little too long. Santana makes his way up, slams him off the top rope. And then the flying forearm gets Santana victory. We see a commercial for SummerSlam. Then we move towards continuing to push towards SummerSlam. Bad News Brown against an enhancement talent. Bad News really only punches and kicks. I mean, that's what he does and what he did. Obviously, the match that he's moving towards after throwing an opponent to the outside and talking about in an inset promo is Bad News against Jake Roberts at SummerSlam. Sewer Rats versus Snake. The fake Snake is brought out by the enhancement talent, Rubber Snake. Brown goes back in, stomps the Rubber Snake, hits a Ghetto Blaster, and gets the 1-foot pin. And Brown goes to the outside, grabs a steel chair, and beats up the Rubber Snake with a steel chair, just to add impetus to things. We go to a hype for the Worcester Central Boston Garden. Beefcake and Perfect talked about. This basically is a reminder that Bobby Heenan is the best manager there is. Hercules up next, talking about the match he's going to have with Akeem, talking about powering Akeem into a submissive state. Chris Duffy against the Superfly is up next. Superfly, of course, not as powerful or as influential in 1989, 1990, 91 as he was in previous generations, still with the chops, still with the leapfrogs, and of course the win he gets is with the Superfly Splash. But suffice to say, the backbreaker and the splash not nearly as impactful as 83 and 84. Although he's still wrestling well into the early 2000s on independent shows. I heard an interview about Jimmy a few months ago, and he could not even read nor write, which I just found amazing that he was as successful as he was with that. And anyway, Boris Zukov plugging a match upcoming in a New England tour, Worcester Central, Boston Garden, I think the 14th of July, about a week away. Says he's going to punish Nikolai Volkov for betraying Mother Russia and punish him in ways that are unspeakable. Hacksaw Duggan says he's going to get more air in his lungs and fight the earthquake. Sean Mooney, the event center host, basically talks about, kind of the fact that Hulk Hogan's return will impact a lot of people. Rhythm and Blues against George Scotland and Jim McPherson. Rhythm and Blues still working towards a blow-off with the Bushwhackers. Rhythm and Blues doesn't have that many major feuds in their run. Bushwhackers feud, maybe they do a secondary feud with the Hart Foundation's post into the fall, maybe, but it just doesn't strike me as regular. Double back elbows by Rhythm and Blues, and then of course Honky Tonk Man alongside Jimmy Hart says he wants to sing and dance. Brother Love Show, while we see kids munching away on ice cream bars. Man, I'd love one of those no matter what time of year it is. Nikolai Volkov out next on the Brother Love Show. Brother Love doesn't understand how leaving Russia is loving, is the synopsis of the interview anyway. Volkov says that the members of Russian government and the U.S. government have talked peace. Hacksaw Duggan comes out and embraces Nikolai as an American, hands him an American flag, and we're all supposed to cheer. I've never understood patriotic angles in worldwide wrestling companies. I think they're goofy, always have, always will. I understand that the majority of fans buy into them, but if you're truly trying to be an international company, why you do them is just beyond me. Macho King, Randy Savage, and Queen Sherry out next. Enhancement match, Jim Brunzell against Savage. Brunzell sending Macho Man over with a monkey flip early, and Savage actually waits and takes his shirt off and kind of gets a little aggravated. We see a sleeper hold by Brunzell. Brunzell sent to the outside, and Savage hits the running knee into the post. I will say, Randy Savage got the most out of just about any move possible, and also never hardly wasted any motion. Goes to the top rope, hits the top rope elbow drop, and gains himself a victory here. That elbow looks like $1 million to to look at, but looks like heck to take. Big Boss Man, a couple of months after his babyface turn here, facing off with Barry Hardy. Boss Man and Million Dollar Man still on a collision course around the country, around the world, in a clothesline by the Boss Man pretty early. We see a shoulder breaker a la Papa Shango in about a year or so. And then Boss Man Slam after a few kicks to the arm and some double axe handle. Boss Man Slam gets him the victory. And Boss Man still hooks the man up to the ring ropes and uses the nightstick. I didn't know. Looking back, I don't understand that being a babyface move, but it is what it is. Earthquake talks about Jim Duggan, talks about squashing Jim Duggan in an event center promo. Rhythm and Blues and the Bushwhackers. Bushwhackers promise to cause chaos and make a good time for their fans, and that will close us for today. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.